Chosen one, you don't even realize how effortlessly you dismantle every scheme thrown your way, how your radar for fake people operates at frequencies these predators can't even comprehend, and how your casual words of wisdom become bulletproof armor for everyone smart enough to listen. While they're plotting in shadows, you're already gone. While they're wearing masks, you've seen their true face. While they're scheming to use others, your advice is building armies of people who can't be touched. 3 separate situations are converging in your life simultaneously, and what you don't realize yet is that each one is connected to the others in ways that will blow your mind when the truth finally surfaces. The co-worker who's been asking too many questions about your methods, the old friend who suddenly reappeared with urgent financial problems, and that family member who's been unusually interested in your personal business. They're not operating independently. There's a thread connecting all 3, and when you discover what it is, everything about your past patterns will suddenly make perfect sense. This isn't luck, and it certainly isn't paranoia. What you possess is something far more dangerous to those who feast on others' energy, an innate ability to see through the performance, to sense the rot beneath the polished surface, to feel the shift in someone's intentions before they've even fully formed them in their own mind. While ordinary people get caught up in the theater of human interaction, believing what they're told and hoping for the best, you're reading the energetic signature behind every smile, every compliment, every seemingly innocent question about your plans. The universe didn't give you this gift to make life easier. In fact, it often feels like the opposite. There's a profound loneliness in seeing what others cannot, in feeling the undercurrents of deception while everyone else basks in surface-level pleasantries. But this burden, this constant vigilance, this exhausting dance of discernment, it's your protection and your power wrapped into one relentless package, and right now it's about to be tested in ways that will either break you or transform you into something unrecognizable. Someone close to you, and I mean dangerously close, has been systematically cataloging your routines, your weaknesses, your financial patterns, even your emotional triggers. They've been building a psychological profile of you with the precision of a behavioral analyst, but not for the reasons you might expect. This person isn't planning to rob you or physically harm you. Their scheme is far more insidious and potentially devastating to your future trajectory. They've discovered something about your path that you haven't even recognized yet. There's money coming your way, significant money from a source you haven't anticipated. Maybe it's an inheritance you don't know about, a business opportunity that's about to present itself, or a legal settlement that's been brewing in the background of your life. This person has somehow gotten wind of it, and they've been positioning themselves to be perfectly placed to benefit when it manifests. Their plan depends entirely on you staying exactly where you are, maintaining the same relationships, keeping the same job, living in the same emotional and psychological space you currently occupy. They need you stagnant because movement would disrupt their carefully laid foundation. What they don't realize is that your spirit is already preparing for a massive shift that will make their entire scheme irrelevant. Right now, as you hear these words, there's someone in your life who's been moving differently around you lately. Their energy has shifted, become calculating where it once felt warm. They're asking different questions, paying attention to details about your life that never interested them before. Maybe it's a co-worker who's suddenly very curious about your projects, your methods, your connections. Perhaps it's a friend who's been fishing for information about your finances, your relationships, your future plans. Or it could be someone you've been helping, mentoring, or supporting who's now studying you with the intensity of a predator, sizing up prey. What they don't realize is that their shift in energy hit your radar the moment it happened. Your nervous system registered the change before your mind could process it. That slight unease you've been feeling around them, that's not anxiety, that's your early warning system functioning exactly as it should. While they think they're being subtle, every cell in your body is already preparing for departure. This is how you outsmart people without even trying. Your intuition operates at a frequency they can't access or understand. The truly masterful part of your nature isn't just that you spot the deception, it's how you handle it. Where others might confront, argue, or try to gather evidence, you simply begin to fade from their reach. You start revealing less, sharing fewer details about your life, your plans, your vulnerabilities. You become friendly but distant, kind but unavailable. They interpret this as you being busy or stressed, never suspecting that you've seen right through their facade and are systematically cutting off their access to what they're really after. While you're instinctively protecting yourself from this primary threat, you're simultaneously being watched by someone else entirely, someone who's been studying your protective patterns with fascination and growing admiration. This observer has been trapped in their own toxic dynamic, unable to break free because they lack the confidence to trust their own instincts the way you trust yours. This person has been making mental notes every time you've gracefully exited a conversation that was heading in an uncomfortable direction. Every instance you've declined an invitation that felt off, every moment you've chosen solitude over questionable company. They've been wondering how you developed such clarity about what serves you and what doesn't, how you learned to prioritize your inner peace over social expectations, how you found the courage to disappoint people rather than compromise your well-being. What you don't know yet is that this observer is about to become a crucial ally in exposing the plot against you. Their outside perspective will reveal connections you couldn't see from within the situation. They've been watching not just you but also the person who's been studying you, and they've noticed patterns that will help you understand the full scope of what you're dealing with. This pattern has repeated throughout your life, in schools, workplaces, social circles, even within families. The same dynamic plays out again and again. Someone gets close, gains your trust, seems genuinely interested in your well-being, then something shifts. Their questions become more probing, their support comes with strings attached, their presence in your life starts feeling draining rather than uplifting. And every single time that same internal alarm goes off, that same knowing settles in your gut, this person is not who they pretend to be. You actually listen to that inner voice. When it whispers danger, you don't rationalize it away or give the person the benefit of the doubt. You don't make excuses for their behavior or gaslight yourself into believing you're being too sensitive. You honor what you feel, even when you can't yet prove what you know. This is why they can never quite sink their hooks into you the way they do with others. The ones who stay stuck in toxic dynamics are those who've been trained to doubt their instincts, to prioritize politeness over protection, to choose social harmony over personal safety. But you, chosen one, carry within you an ancient wisdom that refuses to be silenced. When someone's energy turns predatory, yours turns ethereal. You don't fight them, you simply become unavailable to their schemes. You ghost them so subtly, they don't even realize they've been cut off until it's too late to retaliate effectively. This ability to disappear from harmful situations has saved you countless times, though you may not have fully appreciated the magnitude of what you've avoided. Every time you've followed that gut instinct to leave a job before you were fired, to end a relationship before it turned abusive, to distance yourself from a friend before they betrayed you, you've prevented not just immediate harm, but the long-term damage that comes from being drained, manipulated, and used by someone you trusted. What's happening in your life right now is that this gift is intensifying. Perhaps you've noticed that you're spotting the red flags faster, trusting your instincts more readily, requiring less evidence before you make your exit. This isn't you becoming cold or paranoid. This is you finally understanding the true value of your energy and becoming unwilling to waste it on people who don't deserve access to your light. The timing of this awakening isn't coincidental. Something significant is shifting in your path. Some new level of success, abundance, or influence is approaching, and the universe is upgrading your discernment to match your rising trajectory. The higher you climb, the more attractive you become to those who would rather leech off your achievements than create their own. But you're becoming increasingly difficult to deceive, harder to manipulate, more expensive to access. The person who's been plotting against you is about to make a critical mistake that will expose not just their intentions, but the entire network of people who've been involved in monitoring your progress. They're going to approach you with what seems like an incredible opportunity, a business venture, a relationship proposal, or a collaborative project that appears tailor-made for your skills and interests. It will seem too good to be true because it literally is. This opportunity will require you to make a significant commitment, financial, emotional, or professional, that would lock you into their sphere of influence at the exact moment when your real breakthrough is trying to emerge. They're essentially trying to hijack your destiny by offering you a counterfeit version of what you actually deserve. The tragic irony is that if you accepted their offer, you'd miss the genuine opportunity that's already making its way toward you. But you won't accept it because your intuition is now operating at such a refined level that their deception feels obvious to you. When they present their proposal, you'll feel that familiar tightening in your chest, that subtle but unmistakable warning that something is fundamentally wrong with what's being offered. You'll politely decline, and that's when their mask will begin to slip. This evolution in your protective instincts is creating ripple effects throughout your life. People who once felt entitled to your time, energy, and resources are finding themselves mysteriously locked out. Friends who used to call you for advice about the same problems repeatedly are discovering that you're less available for their circular conversations. Co-workers who relied on your insights and innovations to advance their own careers are realizing they can no longer count on your generous nature to cover for their lack of initiative. Some of these people are becoming frustrated, even angry, at your new boundaries. They may accuse you of changing, of becoming difficult or selfish. They might spread rumors about your character or try to turn others against you. This backlash is actually confirmation that you're moving in the right direction. When energy vampires can no longer feed off you, they often lash out in their desperation. Their reaction reveals the true nature of what they wanted from you all along. As you become more selective about who gets access to your wisdom and support, your impact on the right people becomes exponentially more powerful. There's someone in your life, perhaps someone you barely know yet, who's about to benefit tremendously from your advice, your example, or simply your presence in their world. While you're cutting off the takers, you're simultaneously opening channels for those who can truly receive what you have to offer. This person has been watching you from a distance, admiring your independence, your strength, your ability to navigate challenges with grace. They've been in their own toxic situation, perhaps trapped by someone possessive, manipulative, or draining. They've been making excuses for this person's behavior, convincing themselves that things will get better, that they're being too sensitive, that they should be grateful for whatever scraps of affection or attention they receive. Hold that thought for a moment. I need your attention for something very important. We're revealing everything we know about personal power, healing yourself and healing others through weekly Zoom call, no filters, no holding back. We have been quietly adding all the occult secrets we've collected over literal years of spiritual practice. The techniques and wisdom that transformed us from controlled pawns into conscious creators are now available to those ready to walk the same path. This is your invitation to join Obsidian Inner Order and support our platform so we can continue growing our megaphone to reach other chosen ones waiting for activation. By joining the Obsidian Inner Order, you're not just gaining access to forbidden knowledge, you're becoming part of a movement that's rewriting reality itself. It's a 360 win for all of us. Link is in the description. But then they observe how you move through the world. They see how you refuse to tolerate disrespect, how you walk away from situations that don't serve you, how you trust your instincts even when others question your judgment. Your example becomes their permission slip to expect better for themselves. Your boundaries become their blueprint for freedom. The convergence moment is approaching rapidly. The person who's been plotting against you will soon reveal their hand. The observer who's been learning from you will step forward to offer crucial information, and you'll discover that your intuitive responses to both situations have been preparing you for something much larger than individual protection. You're being positioned to help dismantle an entire system of manipulation that's been affecting multiple people in your extended network. Without even realizing it, you're about to inspire someone to make one of the most important decisions of their life. A conversation you have, a story you share, or simply the way you carry yourself will plant a seed in their consciousness that will grow into the courage they need to break free from their own toxic situation. They'll remember something you said about trusting your gut, about not needing to justify your instincts to anyone, about how the right people will respect your boundaries while the wrong ones will try to negotiate them away. This is how your gift works on multiple levels simultaneously. While you're protecting yourself from those who would harm you, you're simultaneously empowering others to protect themselves. Your refusal to accept poor treatment doesn't just elevate your own life, it raises the standard for everyone around you. When people see that it's possible to live with dignity, to expect respect, to prioritize inner peace over external validation, they begin to question why they've been accepting less. The person who's been studying your moves, learning from your example, is about to surprise you. They'll reach out with information that will illuminate the full scope of what you've been dealing with. They've been quietly documenting the network of people who've been monitoring your activities, and they'll reveal connections that will astound you with their implications. This revelation will show you that your instinctive withdrawal from certain situations wasn't just self-protection, it was unknowingly disrupting a coordinated effort to exploit your gifts and resources. This moment of recognition will reveal to you the true scope of your influence. All those times you felt selfish for prioritizing your well-being, all those moments you wondered if you were being too harsh in your judgments, all those instances when others criticized you for being too independent or too selective, you'll realize that your standards weren't too high, they were exactly what the situation required. Your so-called selfishness was actually self-preservation, and your self-preservation was actually service to others who needed to see that another way was possible. But the story doesn't end with this single person's transformation. Your example creates a domino effect. The person you inspire to leave their toxic situation becomes an inspiration to someone else. The boundaries you model become boundaries they implement. The discernment you demonstrate becomes discernment they develop. Your courage to trust your instincts becomes their courage to trust theirs. Meanwhile, the people you've distanced yourself from are discovering that their schemes have backfired spectacularly. The energy they invested in trying to use, manipulate, or sabotage you could have been channeled into improving their own lives. Instead, they're left with the bitter taste of failure and the growing realization that they've lost access to someone who actually could have helped them grow, if only they had approached the relationship with genuine intentions. The exposure of their plot will have consequences that extend far beyond your personal situation. Other people they've been manipulating will suddenly understand what's been happening to them. The network of exploitation will crumble because you have the courage to trust your instincts and remove yourself from their reach. Your individual act of self-preservation will become a catalyst for collective liberation. Some of them are beginning to understand, perhaps for the first time, that their pattern of using others is what keeps them stuck in mediocrity. They're starting to see that their jealousy of your success has blinded them to the very qualities that created that success in the first place: your integrity, your discernment, your willingness to do the inner work that transformation requires. One of these individuals, someone who once tried to undermine you or drain your energy, is having a profound moment of clarity. They're realizing that their behavior toward you was driven by their own insecurity, their own feeling of being stuck while watching you continue to evolve and thrive. They're beginning to understand that the very independence they criticized in you is what they desperately need to develop in themselves. This person is going to reach out to you, not to ask for more of what they once tried to take, but to apologize and to ask how they can become the kind of person who adds value rather than extracting it. They want to know how you developed such strong intuition, such clear boundaries, such unwavering self-trust. They're finally ready to do the work of becoming someone worthy of genuine connection, rather than continuing to seek relationships they can exploit. This conversation will be a full-circle moment for you, chosen one. You'll realize that even your most challenging relationships served a purpose, that even the people who tried to harm you contributed to your growth and wisdom. You'll see that your ability to spot deception and your willingness to remove yourself from toxic situations didn't just protect you, it eventually educated others about the difference between genuine and manipulative connection. The wisdom you've gained from navigating countless situations where people tried to use your gifts against you has transformed you into someone who can help others recognize and escape similar dynamics. Your hard-won discernment has become a service you can offer to those who are still learning to trust their own instincts. Your journey from naivety to wisdom, from giving everyone the benefit of the doubt to requiring people to earn your trust, has equipped you to guide others through their own awakening process. As this realization settles into your consciousness, you'll understand that your sensitivity to deception isn't a burden, it's a superpower. Your ability to sense people's true intentions before they reveal them isn't a curse, it's a gift that allows you to navigate the world with unprecedented clarity and safety. Your inclination to distance yourself from those who would harm you isn't antisocial, it's self-preservation that ultimately serves the highest good of all involved. The final revelation will tie everything together in a way that will leave you speechless. The money that's been trying to reach you, the opportunities that have been delayed, the connections that have been blocked. You'll discover that the very people you've been instinctively avoiding were the ones creating these obstacles. Your withdrawal from their influence was the missing piece that allows abundance to flow freely into your life. The new chapter opening in your life is one where your discernment becomes your strength, where your boundaries become your freedom, where your selectivity becomes your power. The people entering your world now are those who appreciate your depth, respect your standards, and add value to your existence rather than trying to extract it. They recognize your wisdom because they've done their own inner work. They honor your energy because they understand its true worth. And the beautiful irony of this evolution is that as you become more discerning about who gets access to your time and energy, you simultaneously become more generous with those who prove themselves worthy of your trust. Your love becomes more powerful because it's more intentional. Your advice becomes more impactful because it's offered to those who can actually receive and implement it. Your presence becomes more transformative because you're only sharing it with people who can match your frequency. This is your story, chosen one, not the tale of someone who became hardened by betrayal, but the saga of someone who transformed painful experiences into profound wisdom. Your ability to outsmart those who would harm you without even trying isn't just about protection, it's about preservation of your purpose, your energy, and your mission in this world. Every person you've distanced yourself from, every toxic situation you've escaped, every manipulation you've seen through has been training for this moment when your discernment becomes a beacon for others who are ready to stop accepting less than they deserve. The universe didn't give you the ability to spot fakes and escape toxic situations just for your own benefit. It gave you these gifts because others need to see that it's possible to live with dignity, to trust your instincts, to prioritize your well-being, and to expect authentic connection. Your journey from being someone who gives everyone the benefit of the doubt to someone who requires people to earn your trust is the roadmap others need to find their own freedom. As you continue to move through the world with this hard-won wisdom, remember that your standards aren't too high. They're exactly what the situation demands. Your boundaries aren't walls that keep love out. They're filters that ensure only genuine love gets in. Your selectivity isn't antisocial, it's self-preservation that ultimately serves the collective by raising the standard of what acceptable treatment looks like. The people who belong in your life will understand and respect your discernment. They'll appreciate that you've learned to protect your energy because it means that when you choose to share it with them, it comes from a place of genuine desire rather than obligation or manipulation. They'll recognize that your ability to spot deception and your willingness to remove yourself from harmful situations is what keeps your light bright enough to illuminate the path for others. Your story continues to unfold, chosen one, with each person you inspire to trust their instincts, each individual you encourage to raise their standards, each soul you show that another way is possible. The very gifts that once made you feel isolated and misunderstood are now becoming the foundation for the most meaningful connections of your life, relationships built on mutual respect, genuine appreciation, and authentic care rather than need, exploitation, or convenience. This is your time, chosen one. This is your moment to step fully into the power of your discernment, to embrace the strength of your boundaries, and to celebrate the wisdom that comes from trusting your instincts, even when others question your judgment. The universe has been preparing you for this level of clarity, this depth of understanding, this ability to navigate relationships with both compassion and protection. But there's something even more powerful happening that most people will never understand about your unique gift. Your advice doesn't just protect individuals, it creates protective shields around entire communities. When you share your insights about recognizing manipulation, reading energy signatures, or trusting gut instincts, you're essentially teaching people how to become immune to an entire category of predators who rely on others' naivety to survive. The person who's been observing your protective patterns is about to become your first official student, though neither of you realizes it yet. They're going to ask you to teach them how you developed such sharp discernment, and when you begin explaining your process, you'll discover that you've unconsciously created an entire methodology for spotting deception. Your casual observations about body language, energy shifts, and behavioral patterns will prove to be more sophisticated than most professional training programs. This teaching moment will unlock something profound within you. You'll realize that your painful experiences with manipulative people weren't random suffering. They were masterclasses in human psychology that have equipped you to help others avoid similar traps. Every lie you've detected, every manipulation you've escaped, every fake person you've identified has contributed to a vast database of knowledge that can now serve a greater purpose. Your casual comment about how genuine people never make you feel crazy for trusting your instincts has been passed along through multiple conversations, creating a chain reaction of awakening among people who've been gaslit into doubting their own perceptions. What you said in passing has become someone else's life-changing revelation, and they've shared it with someone else who desperately needed to hear it. The person who's been plotting against you is about to experience something they never anticipated: complete irrelevance. Their elaborate scheme will crumble not because you actively fought against it, but because you've simply moved beyond their reach. While they were busy studying your current level, you've already transcended to a completely different playing field. They'll find themselves trying to manipulate someone who no longer exists because the version of you they were targeting has evolved into something they can't comprehend or control. This evolution isn't just personal, it's archetypal. You're embodying a new template for how conscious people navigate a world full of unconscious predators. Your combination of compassion and discernment, openness and protection, service and self-preservation is creating a blueprint that others are instinctively drawn to follow. You're not just protecting yourself, you're pioneering a new way of being that makes manipulation obsolete. The most beautiful part of your story is how your protective instincts have transformed into protective service. Where you once used your gifts solely for self-preservation, you now use them to create safety for others. Your ability to spot fake people has become an ability to help others recognize authenticity. Your talent for escaping toxic situations has evolved into a talent for helping others build healthy relationships. This transformation is why your advice carries such unusual power. When you tell someone to trust their instincts, you're not offering generic wisdom, you're sharing hard-won knowledge from someone who has survived in the trenches of human deception. When you encourage someone to set boundaries, you're speaking from the authority of someone who has personally experienced the cost of not having them. Your words carry the weight of lived experience, and people can feel the difference. The final piece of your story that's about to fall into place involves your growing reputation as someone whose advice actually works. People are starting to seek you out specifically because they've heard that your insights have a track record of protecting people from harm. You're developing a reputation as someone who can see through situations that confuse everyone else, someone whose guidance helps people avoid disasters they never saw coming. This reputation will soon reach the attention of someone who needs your specific type of protection, someone who's being targeted by a sophisticated manipulation campaign that's beyond their ability to recognize. Your intervention in their situation will save them from a devastating betrayal, and their gratitude will help you understand the true scope of your gift. You'll realize that your ability to outsmart predators isn't just a personal survival skill, it's a form of service that the universe is asking you to provide. Your reputation for outsmarting people without even trying isn't just about being clever, it's about being aligned with a higher wisdom that sees beyond the surface, that senses the truth beneath the performance, that protects not just your own journey, but the journeys of all those who are inspired by your example to expect more, demand better, and trust the voice within that always knows which way leads home.